Hello and welcome to CNRD. We are very privileged to have you here, and we thank you very much for visiting our website. We would like your visit to our site to be as much enjoyable as possible. We thought you would be interested to know about us, what we stand for, and why we are different from other Rwandan political parties. So here's a little about CNRD. CNRD stands for the National Council for Revival and Democracy. We are a party that seeks to bring together all Rwandans that have been marginalized, oppressed, and persecuted by the brutal dictatorial regime of Paul Kagame. We represent Rwandan refugees wherever they are across the world. We represent any Rwandan inside the country who has been denied their rights, persecuted, and discriminated against by the regime. We are a party that represents all Rwandan ethnic groups without distinction. We encourage every Rwandan with the similar beliefs and values to join our struggle and help us make Rwanda a country we are all proud of. So here's a little about the political history of Rwanda. The political history of Rwanda has been written, and it goes back a few hundreds of years. Unfortunately, our history does not make good reading, as it is riddled with terrible events that have left an almost indelible mark on our collective national psyche. It is a history about war, about misuse of power, injustice, poverty, discrimination, and death. From the years of kingdoms till the independence of 1959, to the Rwandan Republic under MDR, Perpehutu, and MRND till 1994, to the new warmongering, elitist, greedy, and deadly regime of RPF from 1994 to date. Rwanda has set a precedence over this long history for having the political leadership all but against the citizenry. There are plenty of examples that tie the misery of innocent Rwandans to the poor, immoral to inhuman national political leadership. How else could you attempt to justify events like the 1994 genocide, for example? How could you justify other senseless killings and injustice that have besieged innocent Rwandans throughout our post-independence history? And especially, how could you justify the countless, unrelenting massacres of Rwandans, both inside and outside Rwanda, by RPF regime since 1994? Enough is enough. Rwandans must chart a new course. They must be ready to sacrifice to achieve a new Rwanda they deserve. And they must be ready to accept a cultural change and truly value one another. The question to ask ourselves is, what is the purpose of liberation? In 1959, the Hutus talked of liberation, and 3 years later, the country feted the independence. In 1990 to 1994, the Tutsis in RPF talked and celebrated what they called a liberation struggle. And now, everyone is talking of a struggle for yet another liberation. How many times are we going to have these recurrent liberations? Would it be the case that Rwandans have been putting the cart before the horse when it comes to liberation? CNRD believes that we must first of all change our hearts and souls and fix the politics. Otherwise, we risk having an endless circle of liberation that only serves the interest of politicians and their cronies. For example, the most recent so-called liberation was that of RPF war that put Paul Kagame on the throne. Spare a thought for a moment for the young men and women who have sacrificed their lives to help RPF get into power. Their fight, sweat, blood, and dream have been hijacked by a man without morals and pity, a man who will stop at nothing to keep his grip on power. His name is Paul Kagame. Rwandans have watched in awe as he misuses his power to kill at will innocent Hutus, and in recent years he has turned the sword against his own tribesmen, including some of his own family. Most are now wondering what they have fought for. Why is Kagame doing that, I hear you ask? Probably because he can. He is doing it for power and for his insatiable appetite for wealth at the expense of Rwandans. The country has been hijacked, folks. It is high time we stand up, one and all, Hutus, Tutsis, and Twas, and claimed it back. RPF under Kagame is the worst thing to ever happen to Rwanda and to Rwandans. Since 1994, Rwanda will never be the same again. The suffering and loss that Rwandans have known is unfathomable. It is unbelievable. And you know the most sad thing about it? No one wants to openly talk about it because of fear. Worse still, the international community has decided to be silent about Kagame's wrath of atrocities against Rwandans. Profiling the scale of Paul Kagame's killing of innocent Rwandans is beyond the scope of this video, but we will briefly enumerate some of these, including his deliberate role in the 1994 genocide. His intentions were to seize power at all cost, including sacrificing Tutsi blood. The Kabiho massacres reported to have claimed about 8,000 lives. The cleansing of northern provinces of Rwanda, where Hutu inhabitants were exterminated in their thousands. Genocide of Hutu refugees in DRC, approximately 200,000 lives. Killing of Congolese civilians, approximately 6 million lives. Incessant killings and jailings of political dissidents. Using genocide for own political benefit, such as labeling every prominent Hutu who does not toe the RPF line as a genocidaire or harboring a genocide ideology. Killing, jailing, or forcing into exile any key members of RPF family who dared challenge him, starting wars with neighbors, institutionalizing ethnic discrimination in favor of Tutsis in key organs of the state, wreaking havoc in the hearts of Rwandans such that everyone lives in constant fear and indeed under constant surveillance by the regime, and so on and so forth. This is no wonder Paul Kagame has been referred to as the most important war criminal in office today by academic Philippe Renettgens. And this is why it is imperative to stop Paul Kagame. The stakes are high now, and every peace-loving Rwandan must contribute every bit to arrest Kagame's onslaught. Otherwise, we risk being dragged into another brutal war. The poor majority will continue to suffer while the elite gets richer. We risk another potential genocide. Hutus risk to perpetually be accused of harboring genocide ideology, and rampant arbitrary killings of innocent Rwandans will not stop. We must therefore act, and the time is now. Please, we cannot be mistaken about this. It's a difficult task ahead. Folks, there's no denying the task ahead is difficult. Kagame is going to be hard to move. This is because he has got quite a few things going in his favor, including an international community that seems to have been sold Kagame's lies about the true Rwandan story. Abundant resources, both military and economic, in the hands of Paul Kagame that he uses to fend off any threat to his power. A fragmented political opposition, busy at tearing each other apart, and sometimes stuck in the past. A people so much afraid they will not dare rise up to defend their rights for fear of being killed. Some Rwandans now think Kagame is God. What a shame. Folks, we think it is going to be hard, but we are ready for the fight, and we have no doubt together we will prevail. We will defeat Kagame and RPF, and we will restore glory, love, and hope to the people of Rwanda again. Freedom or death. Dear friends, there is hope on the horizon, and we have God on our side. Through CNRD, Rwandans are realizing that yes, there is a better way to live than in constant fear. Yes, all children of Rwanda across 3 tribes are the same. And yes, freedom is precious, and as such, has got price. We are pleased of the support we are getting, and early signs are that Rwandans are overcoming their fears and demanding their rights. CNRD is ready to work with every Rwandan who shares the same beliefs and values of the party. We are a different party from other Rwandan opposition parties, and here's why. CNRD is a new generation of young Rwandans who will fight for you. CNRD has got new ideas of a future, better, inclusive Rwanda. CNRD's ideology is anchored in strong values of social justice and individual freedoms. When we need your support to achieve our objectives, we've got a lot of work ahead, and we would appreciate your support to stand with us in this struggle. The primary objective of CNRD is removing Kagame from office. The work has started, and it will not be long before Kagame is history. Some of our plan and objectives include to bring about true reconciliation and healing of all Rwandans, to establish a fair and equitable society, free from all forms of political extremism, to ensure the Rwandan history is told as it is, without manipulations for political gains, so that our people can learn from their past, live the present, and hope for the future. To create a platform for sound social and economic development for all Rwandans. To create an accountable and transparent government that is democratic and representative of all Rwandan, ethnic and regional groupings. A government that espouses both the rule of law and fair justice to every Rwandan in genuine separation and autonomy of powers of executive, legislative, and judiciary. To initiate cultural and social justice awareness programs to ensure that gross human rights violations, such as genocide, do not ever happen again in Rwanda. To provide a durable solution to the Rwandan refugee problem. To improve the Rwandan reputation in the Great Lakes region of Africa and beyond. To negotiate a power-sharing structure whereby all Rwandan ethnic groups are well represented. To ensure strong civilian rule where the military is in charge of national security and sovereignty and civilians manage the politics of the country. To advocate for the existence of independent media, free of government interference. To advocate for strong political opposition by properly funding, resourcing, and facilitating the work of political opposition to ensure that work and program of government is properly scrutinized and held accountable, and many more other initiatives to bring about meaningful change in the lives of fellow Rwandans. We encourage you to download a copy of our interim document, as well as our ratified constitution, to know more about our program. These documents are a click away, right from the front page of our website at www.cnrd-ubwiyunge.org. There you have it, folks. Our plan is clear. Our cause is just, and the moment is right and now. If you want justice, you have been long denied. If you want to live a free man or woman in a country you are proud to call home. If you want to have your civic rights and freedoms respected. If you want to express yourself freely without fear. And most importantly, if you love your country and share our belief that all Rwandans are equal before the law, then we would be privileged for you to join our party. We need as much support as we can get in order to achieve our objectives. Even a little Facebook like goes a long way. Thank you very much for listening, and especially for taking your time to visit our website. May God bless you and your family.